after discussing these errors and biasness, we are going to have a look at some of the important aspects which are pertaining to the models of decision making. Details are very lengthy. We are cutting short here and we are taking into consideration only those parts which are meaningful, which are simple to understand, because we are going to learn here the basic parameters of bounded rationality. Let us see what is this bounded rationality. By this bounded rationality, we simply mean that it is a kind of human decision making process. It is a human decision making process in which we attempt to satisfy rather than optimize. You can say, in other words, when we seek a decision that will be good enough rather than the best possible decision, it is called the bounded rationality. Here, I want to tell you the expert who introduced this theory of bounded rationality in the year 1955. Herbert Simon was the first person who introduced this theory, and in this theory, Herbert Simon challenged the concept of human rationality in decision making process. He felt that the bounded rationality involves the idea that the capacity of human beings decision making is not fully rational because it faces various limits, and these limits include information failure, also the time taken to make a decision, and the limitations of the human brain in processing information. As a result of these limitations, generally what happens? Generally, people end up making satisfying decisions rather than the optimal decisions. It is a very common practice in business houses while making important decisions. There are few more terms that need attention here to make you understand the entire concept of decision making simple and easily understandable for you. Rationality, for example. Rationality is the belief that as humans, we always make the best option. As a human, we always make the best option when it is in our best interest. It's logical too, because it assumes that humans have complete knowledge of their alternatives and consequences. Because being the supreme creation of God, we know we should have the judgment. Then another important thing that should also be taken up here is the intuition. Just think of these terms which are applied in the decision making process. Intuition. Intuition is the ability to understand and recognize something instantly. When we are able to understand and identify or recognize something instantly without the use of conscious reasoning, which is often manifesting as gut feeling and instinctive reaction, is intuition. This is different, or you can say it is distinct from insight. which people are generally confused about. It is distinct from insight and can be considered contrasted with the deliberative style of decision making. Friends, intuition is the ability to make decisions without much information. Here, good sense prevails upon the individuals, and intuition complements logical thinking, and it can be informed by expert knowledge and learned patterns by guiding decisions and actions in various situations. Intuition in the context of decision making is defined as a non-sequential information processing mode. That is why it is considered as different from the insight, because here we are going to make the process of decision making in the interest of the institution. Students, the next topic, next remaining part of the decision making is very important, which needs special attention. And this will be the concluding part of the decision making too. Here, we are going to throw some light on the groupthink in decision making. Let us first of all try to understand one thing, that what is basically the groupthink in decision making. Let me tell you one thing about the groupthink in decision making. First of all, you should understand that in the year 1972, Irvin L. Janis, a social psychologist, he used this term. And this groupthink in decision making is a phenomenon that occurs when a group of individuals reaches a consensus without critical reasoning or evaluation of the consequences of the alternatives. It occurs when well-intended individuals make non-optimal or irrational decisions. Taking decisions is not a problem, but their decisions are based on a belief that decision is impossible. Nobody is going to be against this. Or they feel that this is the only option. You can see, people sit together, they think in a group, they reach to consensus. But again, reaching consensus is one thing. Reaching consensus with critical reasoning or without critical reasoning is very important. When they reach to consensus without making evaluation of the consequences of or alternatives, I feel that there may be some kind of problems in the process. The process may bring some harmful impacts on the decision making process. So the groupthink in decision making theory, I am not opposed or I am not averse to the idea of the groupthink theory, because it has been helpful in understanding how collective decision making happens and how it goes wrong or how it can go wrong. I want to give you here one example of a groupthink where leader of a group telling everyone that they need to ban all members of a particular ethnic group from joining them. And the members of this group accept this decision without questioning it. Now, after knowing the concept of the group thing, we should see one thing that is coming to my mind. And it is about why does groupthink occur? This is a very important point to take into account. And here I want you to just think. When you are part of a group, perhaps during a school project, imagine that someone proposes an idea that you think is quite poor. However, everyone else in the group agrees with the person who suggests the idea, and the group seems set on pursuing that course of action. Do you think? Do you voice your dissent? Did you voice your dissent, or did you just go along with the majority opinion? Because the common practice of our society is that majority prevails. Sometimes there is a subordination of individual interest to general interest too in business organizations. These kind of things are happening in businesses. And you know what is happening? There are some problems which are arising in business world. I want to tell you few more things about this groupthink process in the light of its important aspects. Irving Janis, an expert of the field, identified some signs that are closely associated with groupthink. What he identified is very important, and I want to share with you what he identified about the groupthink. Illusion of unanimity, unquestioned belief, rationalization, stereotyping, mind guards, illusion of invulnerability, and direct pressure on opposing views. Let me tell you, each of these signs lead members of the group to ignore dissenting viewpoints and they to hide their own doubts. Because in the process of decision making, these things are like to happen. People sometimes they may have some negative feeling about a particular issue. But because of the behavior of the individuals or because of the fear of not being accepted, people do not come out of their views about the issue. Let us look at these signs which are very closely linked with the group thing. First of all, illusion of unanimity. Among the key decision makers that causes them to doubt their own misgivings is the illusion of unanimity. This is illusion. Followed by unquestioned beliefs that lead the group members to ignore potential consequences of the group's actions. Rationalization of potential warning signs that should cause group members to question their beliefs is also one of the signs which is closely associated with the group thing. Stereotyping of contrary viewpoints leads members of the group to reject perspective that question or challenge the group's ideas. Apart from this, mind guards, or we can say members of a group who prevent troubling or contrarian viewpoints from circulating among the group members. mind guards. They're acting as a guard of the mind. Rather than sharing important information, they may keep quiet or prevent other members from sharing. And illusion of invulnerability. Illusion of invulnerability lead group members to engage in unjustified risky behavior with an overly optimistic hope of success. That pressure, lastly, that pressure may silence group members, may shut them who tend to pose inconvenient questions or raise objections that may be seen as an evidence of disloyalty. Well, these are the important aspects which have drawn our concentration, focus here. Now, before we go to the concluding part, a quick look at the techniques of decision making is very important too. We have to take a look at the techniques of decision making. Till now, we have gone through a number of issues pertaining to decision making. We have gone through, I believe, almost all the aspects relating to the decision making process in the business organizations. In this unit, we have found that one of the important things that we have done is that we have seen almost all the aspects relating to decision making. A few more are left. We are just going to conclude it in the light of these few points. The techniques of decision making are more than one. SWOT analysis, first of all. SWOT, we all know, stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. This technique involves identifying internal strengths and weaknesses, as well as opportunities and threats. The application of this technique is in the form of strategic planning, business analysis. One has to understand how we are going to be different from others. In this 4 letters SWOT, strength, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. 2 are positive, 2 are negative. Strengths and opportunities are positive aspect. Weaknesses and threats are the negative side. But it can be taken into consideration. Even an ordinary individual should make his objective analysis of his life. Being successful in this world, everyone must make his SWOT analysis. Self-analysis is the best analysis. In business world, we have to take a decision, and one of the techniques could be the decision making. SWOT analysis. Another technique, another way out is the decision matrix, which is also considered as a technique of decision making. A decision matrix involves listing options, defining criteria, and assigning weights to each criterion. The options are then evaluated against the criteria, and the total score is calculated for each option. This can be applied on the basis of option evaluation and project selection. A very important analysis which draws our attention here is the cost benefit analysis. We all should, in our day-to-day life also, should make the cost benefit analysis. Cost benefit analysis involves evaluating costs and benefits associated with different options. To determine which option provides the most favorable outcome is to be seen. We have to once make sure what is it going to cost us, what is going to be the benefit of it. This can be done very easily, simply by way of project evaluation and financial decision making. Apart from SWOT analysis, decision matrix, cost benefit analysis, one more analysis needs our discussion here, that is the Pareto analysis. Pareto analysis, also known as the 80-20 rule. This 80-20 rule involves identifying the most significant factors contributing to a problem or situation and focusing on addressing those factors. It can be done simply through quality improvement. It can be done through problem solving. Marginal analysis. What is marginal analysis? Marginal analysis is also important type of technique of decision making. In case of the marginal analysis, we find that it helps the organizations allocate resources to increase profitability and also the benefits and reduce costs. For example, we can say an example from a company like Indeed.com is a company. If a company has the budget to hire an employee, a marginal analysis may show that hiring that person provides a net marginal benefit because the ability to produce more products outweighs the increase in the labor cost. So this is also a technique of decision making wherein we make sure that we allocate resources in business to increase profitability and benefits and also to reduce the cost. These are the important techniques of decision making. At the end, we are going to throw some light on the remaining aspects. That concluding this part of this discussion is about the benefits and dangers of groupthink. I want to tell you one thing here, that groupthink can have some benefits. Working with a large number of people makes or allows the group to take or to make decisions, to complete the task and also to finish projects quickly and efficiently. However, this phenomenon has also costs as well. The suppression of individual opinions and creative thoughts can lead to poor decision making and inefficient problem solving. Two sides are there. We are going to see two things together. The benefits, on the other hand, the dangers of the groupthink. It is very important aspect. Because in business, they have to take decisions, they have to complete tasks, they have to finish the products quickly and efficiently. It requires more brains. It is said that two minds always better than one. Obviously, But at the same time, all individuals are important. They should not be suppressed. They can have some kind of creativity in them. Now, what causes groupthink? A number of factors can influence this psychological phenomenon. It tends to occur more in situations where group members are very similar to one another. And also, it is more likely to take place when a powerful and charismatic leader commands the group. Situations where the group is placed under extreme stress, or we can say the situations where the moral dilemmas exist. These kind of situations increase the occurrence of groupthink. And there are a few steps that groups can take to minimize this problem. What these steps are? First of all, leaders can give group members the opportunity to express their own ideas or argue against ideas that have been proposed. Very clear. If they agree or if they disagree, in both the cases, they have to express their opinion. Breaking up members into smaller independent teams can also be helpful in this kind of situation. Because when there are maybe 20 persons sitting at one place, there will be some people who will be like-minded. They will be having the similar kind of feeling towards a particular idea. Breaking up the members into smaller independent teams can be helpful. And also, more ideas that might help. What is that? Initially, the leader of the group should avoid stating their opinions or preferences when assigning tasks. Because, we are not talking about a dictatorial attitude of the leaders. This is not going to be any kind of autocracy in the system. What is to be done is very simple. Give people time to come up with their own ideas first. One of the important principles of management is that listen to everyone and act on your own. The successful managers, successful management, they listen to everyone and they take their own decision in the light of the discussion. Here, what can be done? Assign at least one individual to take the role of the devil's advocate. Right? Discuss the group ideas with an outside members. Why? Because in order to get impartial opinions, what should be done? We have to encourage group members to remain critical. We should not expect group members to see the positive side only. In business organizations, in this process of decision making, in group think, the management should not discourage the dissent and also the challenges to the prevailing opinion. Leaders should be absent from many groups meetings to avoid overly influencing decisions, because sometimes when leaders are there, managers are there, top level management is there, then the other people do not open their mouth. They don't feel free. We want to ensure free and fair views. The free and fair views require that people should be given an opportunity. People should be given an opportunity to come forward with ideas in their minds. All individuals are important. All individuals are special. Taking into confidence, taking into consideration role and importance of all those who are involved in the process of decision making, we will be able to reach to important decisions. Students, what you have seen in this 8th week is that decision making is one of the most important functions of management, in which based on which you can say the long-term survival of business depends. The survival, the growth of business depends to a very large extent on the effective decision-making process. So with this, we are now going to conclude unit number 8th week of the management concept. Thank you very much.